I'm going to have a very important question. Can I buy Husaberg?
The brand?
Yeah, the whole thing.
We welcome you to this emergency episode of Tech Talk Taco Tuesday because Jimmy went to the motorcycle show. So, yeah, and I tried to buy Husaberg. Didn't work out. Anyhow, the AIMExpo in Las Vegas, so it was easy to get to. It's a 3-day motorcycle show where a lot of the manufacturers and a lot of the brands in the motorcycle industry, and the motorcycle industry is pretty big, come to show their stuff to prospective dealers, to the media, to talk to each other. The dealers are there to go to expos and learn about we'll call it the health of the motorcycle industry, how they can kind of continue doing what they're doing, learn about emerging trends and different things. So, but before you get excited, this episode is brought to you by some of our brands like Climb and, of course, Yamaha. It's that way. The Yamaha's right there. I went there to put a finger on the pulse to see how things were going. And here's what I saw, basically. Well, first of all, why have a show? And this is something that a lot of other industries, bicycle industry, outdoor recreation industry, clothing industry, there's this thing like, do we still need to be doing in-person shows, big shows? I've seen some brands actually just bring their dealers to their location and do a show just for them so they can get them exclusively. We've seen it kind of do it where we can just do everything digitally. We can present things to everybody digitally. We don't need to actually go to a physical location because it is expensive. It is time consuming. And some brands and companies prefer to show at other things, at events, races, rider gatherings, different kinds of things like this. So this show has been going on for a long time. Of course, there was the COVID, we'll call it a big reset that happened. But I enjoy it because I get to see people I ordinarily wouldn't see. It's very interesting to talk to people that are outside of our media, call it inner circle, that they see, when you're talking to just dealers and, people that works at brands, at marketing events and stuff, they see kind of a different side of the industry. And sometimes it's a pretty interesting awakening to hear what they're thinking or hear what they're hearing from their customers. So I find it very educational. I'm glad I got to go, and it's really cool because I get to see a lot of people I haven't seen for a long time, and to kind of catch up and talk about bench races, basically what we do. So I had a really good time. So what I saw, the trends, we've transitioned from a bunch of knockoff BBR mini bikes to now a bunch of knockoff Sur-Ron. So sorry, Dwayne Brown and BBR, I didn't see any cheap knockoff aluminum framed 150 to 230 cc air cooled mini bikes there. But I can't tell you how many electric bikes that look exactly like, well, there's this one kind of shape and form that you're going to see over and over again. And just like when they were knocking off other stuff, they change it a little bit, and you see the quality from very high, and even on some of the imitations, the quality of the interpretation of the original. And we'll just say the Sur-Ron would be the one that I kind of see. And I may not be the expert on the electric side of things. We've got a guy coming that's going to help us with that at Dirt Bike Test. But there's some that are really high. They look like really high quality knockoffs, if you want to call it that. And they change little things, and something's a little bit different. But it seems like that's, they're homogenizing on that kind of style or shape of bike, and you're still seeing different ways to transfer the power from the battery through the controller, through a drive train of some sort, or direct drive. It was interesting to look at some of the stuff and some of the innovations that are coming, and you can definitely see there is, in the dirt bike world, there's a direction for these bikes. So really lightweight, they're definitely stepping up from the mountain bike kind of components into more, we'll say they're getting into like downhill stuff, or at least putting mini bike, better components on the brakes, on the chain sprockets, things like this. The suspension components are getting a little bit beefed up. The seats are getting, more like a motorcycle seat. So it's just evolution. It's where it's going. But there was definitely a lot of these at the show. I can't really tell how the buzz was from the dealers, but if you go almost any place, you're going to see these, we'll call them Surons, running around with kids on them. So good on that, because you're putting kids on two wheels. Bad on the parents that are letting them do stupid shit. But that's my editorial comment for the moment. So that was kind of probably the major takeaway, as well as not so many pedal bike products. Last year there was a lot of pedal bike things and a lot less pedals this year. So I'm pretty sure that industry is having its own problems as well as ours, and I'll get to some of the stuff I noticed in our industry as well. There's still a ton of small air-cooled mini bikes, just of all different shapes, sizes, and stuff. And again, they look like the SSRs and some of those bikes that have been around for a long time. You see these running around as well. They make noise. You hear them running around sometimes. Less of those, though. It's definitely, there used to be, let's say there was 30 different versions of it. Now we're down to like 10 different companies that are kind of presenting these type of bikes, showing these type of bikes, and they're all over the place. I mean, just like the different kind of designs. It's that Honda kind of 50 to 110 cc knockoff style motor, whether it's auto shift or it has a transmission. A lot of that, and now you're seeing a little bit more of the, we'll call it 125 to 250 cc small play bike entry level available from a lot of different brands. And I find that refreshing and good as well, because this is an entry level to get people into the sport, and we can have, again, new riders. And this is what the Motorcycle Industry Council is really trying to do, is to try to get new riders in. I'm specifically talking about the dirt side. They're doing a lot of stuff on the on-road side, which was obvious to see. There's a lot of entry level, we'll call them, low seat height, even electric street was getting quite popular. Urban commuting bikes. There's a lot of this stuff there. So that's kind of what I saw. Another trend I noticed was brands buying brands. Okay, so there's brands that have a name and a reputation, whether it's in hard parts or in oil, or some of the bigger companies that have their own in-house lines of brands, are buying other brands, and then they're using kind of the more popular name to branch out into other stuff. For instance, I found very interesting, Pro Taper is now making tires. Okay, so not the first place I thought Pro Taper would go. Bars, grips, for sure, we're familiar with this. They were chains and sprockets and stuff like that in the past. They're part of a bigger group called Turn 14. That it's a big conglomerate that owns a lot of different brands. So you see this kind of stuff, and then other brands I noticed are merging with other brands, or they're bought up because of their location. So some companies are buying companies here to have warehouse space and to be able to distribute here, and vice versa. And maybe they're going to keep both brands, but now they're owned by another brand. And it really doesn't matter too much on the consumer. You're still going to get this product and that. And I saw that in as well as hard parts. I saw that in some of the chemical companies. It's been going, and this has been going on forever. Nothing is really new. It's just a trend that I saw that seems like it's happening a little bit more. And the other really good thing, like I mentioned, I got to talk to some people. I did a little, I didn't have to do much digging into what's going on with KTM, because there's all kinds of stuff on the internet and you can just go nuts and you'll come out not knowing what's going on. KTM is in debt. They're having meetings with creditors, and every time they have a meeting, you will learn a little bit more because it's all public facing. But I did get to talk to John Heinz. I offered to buy Husaberg, as you heard at the beginning of this thing, and he just laughed at me, but in a good way. He knows what an idiot I can be sometimes. But it was interesting. I got to talk to Salvaraj, also from KTM. Interestingly enough, and this is how I have a little bit of history with KTM, I was a factory rider back when they restructured, I want to say in 1992. And Salvaraj was one of 3 people in the office after they sort of, we'll call it like cleaned house, restructured, did things. I was one of the people that got restructured out. So no hard feelings. I got paid. I got paid in full, actually. I didn't even have to get a percentage, but it's tough times. They took a big gamble, KTM did, to do all the things that they're doing. And when, you can look at it in a lot of different ways. There's nothing that they produce in Mattighoven right now that couldn't be produced in other parts of the world. And this is another thing, is when you start going, oh, well, they're going to be made in China or India. You have no idea how many parts in a KTM are made in different countries, and maybe not China or India specifically, but other places. But this isn't just KTM. This is any brand. There'll be a video clip I'm going to show you, and this company shows you all of the brands that they're manufacturing for, and it's not like it's a secret. So when you say, oh, it's going to be junk because it's built here, that's changing. And just the overall quality, even when we're talking about these mini bikes and these electric bikes, you can buy junk, but you can also get really good high quality stuff from some of these different companies. I have a joke, not a joking video. It is a joking video. It's a kind of a thing. It's like, hey, if you want to build a motorcycle, you could go to this show, get some business cards. You'll probably have to learn to speak a few different languages. You could build your own motorcycle. You could source all of the parts and all the manufacturing to get it completed. I don't know how many you'd have to buy and whatever, but if I were a young guy with my brain packed full of how I'd want to make a motorcycle, I could do it. But there's so many good choices out there. I got to see Zapata Espinosa. So Zap is long time. I remember Zap was a punker on a KX500 at a CMC Golden State Series, and he was at motocross action and mountain bike action and road bike action, and now he's actually working for the Gas and Husqvarna brands for the bicycles. Legend. Good to see him. Got to see Alexander Smith, was another standout. He runs his dad's dealership, Malcolm Smith Motorsports, and he was there because they did a big fundraiser for one of Malcolm's foundation. They auctioned off a lot of Malcolm's old gear and stuff to do that, and also I believe it was for Rider Down to raise money for motorcyclists that have been injured. So it was good to catch up. Alexander's always really good to get a pulse on, like, how dealerships specifically in California are doing when I get to talk to him. So this is kind of what we saw at the show. This should wrap up our emergency episode of a Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. And if you really want me to buy Husaberg, I'm going to set up a GoFundMe account for this. And because I'm pretty sure I can get it at a bargain price if we come in with the right number.
John Heinz with KTM, and I have a very important question. Can I buy Husaberg?
The brand?
Yeah, the whole thing. I just bought a Husaberg motorcycle yesterday, but I mean, Things are for
I'd have to
sale.
go back and look at our records from 2008 when I took over the brand at that time.
See, I
when I started my career, I need to check the records and see who actually has the ownership.
I tried. I really tried.
Yeah. We might have some parts still available.
You do? I know, because I order
we
them.
might have some parts, So this filter right here, funnel web air filter, it uses this pyramid shaped foam. The whole idea with this is that it's double the surface area of a regular filter without making it any bigger. So what does that mean for you and me, Jimmy? That means it holds more dirt, you clean it half as much. I don't like cleaning air filters, you don't like cleaning air filters. This is what you want. You don't want to clean air filters all the time.
Check it out, guys. I'm Jason with Tough Jug. We're going to show you why Tough Jug is the best utility jug on the market. Most of you are probably using this jug, won't be named. We got crappy top handle location, external vents that either break or leak, got a stiff spout. What happens here when you go to fill? Y'all know the game, you know the routine. I just spilled all over myself. Unless you can see the fuel, you're gonna end up overflowing, spilling it all over the place. That's not fun when it's your $20 a gallon race fuel. Come on over to Tough Jug. Got a side handle location. Notice there's no external venting. It's gonna pour 50% faster than that VP jug. And also when it hits the top, it's gonna stop. So I'll go ahead and give you the demo here. Uninterrupted flow. Reaches the bottom. Boom, she shuts off. Go ahead and tap it off. No leaks, no spills, no messes. If you got yourself a top load tank like a motorcycle, snowmobile, tractor, four-wheeler, whatever you got, go ahead and take this, flip it over, spring-loaded action, let it rip. That's why we call it the ripper cap. When it reaches the bottom,
How fast?
it's gonna go ahead and shut off. 5 gallons, 42 seconds. Boom, shuts off, pop it out. No mess, no spill. Welcome to Tough Jug. Save your fuel for the tank, not for your hands, your clothes, everything in between.
Okay, we have some interesting parts from Delagio.
Delagio from Italy. Yeah, Delagio.
Is your name, you say it.
Delagio in Italian.
Perfect.
So Gianni Delagio has developed what's called an XR kit, which basically replaces the ICS piston and spring in a closed cartridge fork with a bladder. So it's basically a drop-in kit that the bladder's tunable via air pressure, and it has zero friction. So it really gives that like plush, subtle, reactiveness on small inputs. Makes the front end very smooth and gives a really good feel. And so obviously this technology comes in the XR kit, which you can convert KYB and WP closed cartridge spring forks to this system. And then of course we offer the complete cartridge, which is called the Sphere, and it gives you premium materials, coatings, everything with the bladder and base valve setup.
We know how well this works in shocks,
Oh yeah,
and now we're bringing it to the forks because it's been in forks before.
sure.
And this is like kit suspension essentially.
Very much
For
so.
all the suspension, we have the cartridge inside if the customer wants. And the last choice for the customer is the complete fork. It's full billet from a full billet of aluminium, turned and worked everything with a DLC in the inner tube and the machine with a 7075.
Nice.
So brand new for the power sports industry, we're launching 6 new products. We got chain lubricant, chain cleaner. We got an air filter oil, an air filter cleaner, a mud blaster that's a mud release, and a factory shine. Keep your machine looking factory new.
So if you came to the motorcycle show and you decided you want to make a motorcycle, you can literally go to all these booths, and this company here will make you your engine cases, your brake lines, pretty much anything you need. So you can get the racing ECU here too. And you go right around the corner, and brakes and clutch parts. And then we go over here, GPS modules and different things like that. Wheels. These guys specialize in wheels. They make chrome, so if you want to have a little bit of chrome, there's that, and mufflers. That stuff looks really familiar if you're into little Hondas. And a couple booths over, we go to drive shafts and stuff, which we don't need there. Of course, tires. If you need tires, these guys can hook you up with tires. Air filters, foot pegs, sprockets, and finally suspension. Cylinders.
Hello.
Hello. Lots of cylinders, yeah? Cranks too. Complete. Fuel injection parts. So throttle bodies, all of the little sensors. Fuel pumps. And of course, if you need any sort of billet, goody, doohickey, part thing, they can make it. So after you get your motorcycle built, you come over here to Pakistan. And this is where you get your gear made. So these guys are known for their fabrics and textiles, and they can make everything from the flannel shirt to the leathers and gloves, base layers. So if you want to kick it up a level, you can come over here to Italy. So this is the Italia section. Of course, then we have Taiwan. And they will also make you a lot of stuff. Belts, billet parts. So there's lots of factories that'll make lots of specific parts. Switch gear. Parts for your clutch and your scooter. Cylinders. That looks very YZ125. Familiar. In fact, engine rebuild kit right there. Hello. The sticky things if you need them. All kinds of carburetors and carburetor gasket kits. Carburetor jets, remember those? Switch gear and more billet shiny parts. So that's it, and we'll see you out in the trail. If you liked what you saw in this video, come check us out over at dirtbiketest.com on the webs. We have bike tests, product tests, a lot of fresh dirt, and you can even support us by clicking through our links. Hopefully, we'll see you out in the trail.